Hey everyone, it's Brent here. Welcome to the very first Razzball Fantasy Basketball daily video. Hopefully it'll be daily. We're going to try here on our new YouTube channel. You might recognize me from my Kurt Rambis avatar when I'm a writer for Razzball. I also host our weekly Razzball Fantasy Basketball Podcast. So keep an eye out for that. We'll be uploading those onto YouTube as well. So I guess just on the first daily one, I'm just going to go through some stuff I've been seeing in the news since we're in the off season of the NBA, but NBA is turning into a year-round sport. So we'll talk about some stories in the NBA, how it impacts fantasy, if at all, maybe get a few laughs in there. So we'll see how it goes. So first, let's start off with a poll. Everyone loves polls in the off season. The first one was the NBA rookies were polled on who will be the rookie of the year. They asked all the rookies, and the splitting the vote, not much of a surprise, is number one pick DeAndre Ayton with the Suns and Colin Sexton of the Cavs, both having 18% of the vote. Probably based on a playing time issue. They're going to get a lot of playing time right off the bat. I was a little surprised to see Sexton there. The next two, Luka Doncic and Kevin Knox, were the 3 and 4 at 9%. Definitely, I could see Luka getting the Rookie of the Year here. Kevin Knox, if Porzingis is out past Christmas, as they say, is going to get a lot of run too. I think you got to throw Trae Young's name in there just based on the amount of playing time he's going to get. But there's some questions about Young and how he's going to adjust to the NBA game and bigger players. So we'll see. I know some people here at Razzball are really high on him. Some people aren't. I myself, I think he's going to have a productive year. I think he's going to hurt your fantasy team more than help it. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I tend to avoid rookies in fantasy basketball. Ben Simmons last year was amazing, but killed you in free throws and turnovers. But there is some news that Ben Simmons might start shooting right-handed. Apparently around the rim he shoots right-handed, and he does a lot of things in life right-handed, but he shoots free throws and his longer jump shots left-handed. So a lot of people think that could be one of the main reasons why he was bad at it, but how he made it his entire life, shooting left-handed, and one, not thinking about switching even though he is right-handed, and two, sucking this bad at shooting but being so amazing. There's a lot of questions I have about this whole Ben Simmons thing. He's obviously a great athlete. There's guys, I played high school basketball. I'm pretty sure from free throws I could shoot better than 50%, even with pressure in the NBA. So we'll see what he does. It's obviously a mental thing. Maybe they learned something from the whole Markelle Fultz thing. Maybe Fultz can help him. I mean, I know you're in trouble mentally if Markelle Fultz is helping you mentally adjust, but we'll see what happens. So could be good, could be bad. Something else to keep an eye on this NBA season. The other thing that they polled the rookies on was who's going to have the best NBA career. Now, this is an interesting one because Wendell Carter Jr. got 13% of the vote as having the best career. Maybe just because as a big man who can rebound, block, score in the paint, going to have a lot of playing time in Chicago, just solid head on his shoulders. Usually the rookies are right, although they did predict Jahlil Okafor at one point as having the best NBA career. Now, he's still playing, so jury's still out, but it's not looking good for J.O. Kevin Knox and Jerome Robinson got second with 10% each, so that's really interesting. Jerome Robinson on the Clippers, Kevin Knox on the Knicks. Knox, popular for rookie and for best career. He could be an interesting guy this season. I think his shooting percentage is going to be kind of low to make him really worthwhile in fantasy, but we'll see how it goes. Yeah, I'm not taking K squared this season. But going forward, people love his game. So we'll see. The kid's only 18 or 19 years old. It's crazy. Another prediction that happened in the offseason was who's going to win the MVP. LeBron James has by far been the favorite to win the MVP this coming season. And I got to say, if the Lakers make the playoffs and LeBron stays healthy, which for them to make the playoffs, he pretty much has to stay healthy. I think he's going to run away with the MVP. I think his closest competition would be Anthony Davis. If he stays healthy, that kid is going to have a huge year, and definitely number one in fantasy, in case you were wondering. Go with Anthony Davis. I mean, come on. If you have the number one pick, or if someone decides to take somebody else, take him. They could make LeBron kind of a sneaky late first-round pick if you end up picking towards the end of your first round and LeBron falls. I would grab him quickly. I mean, everyone keeps waiting for this drop-off, but he just keeps getting better. It's crazy. So we'll see. And now he's going to be extra motivated around these young guys to really up his game. He may not have to score as many points, but I think his peripheral numbers are going to be amazing. The other news stories out there is Kevin Love, DeMar DeRozan, and other players talking about their anxiety and their depression disorders. And the big thing that people ask me, and the big question out there when you're talking about people's mental health is, Brent, would you draft someone with mental health issues on your fantasy team? And my answer is yes. Yes, I would have Dennis Rodman on my fantasy team if I needed rebounds, and that's how things were going. And he's the king of mental health issues. I've had Meta World Peace / Ron Artest on my team. I've had Lance Stephenson. I've had Latrell Sprewell on my fantasy team before. So yeah, I would definitely go with Kevin Love or DeMar DeRozan, not be too fazed by this. You might have the occasional weird story of them leaving a game or collapsing in the locker room, but as long as there's no structural damage, not to worry. Another funny story I saw out there is that there's a Knicks fan who's selling his fandom on eBay for $1,973. He's a 33-year lifelong Knicks fan, and he's so fed up with the team and where they're going, even with Kevin Knox and Porzingis, that he wants to sell his fandom on eBay. And he will sell it and become a fan of whatever team the person who buys it wants him to be. Now, this sounds like a lot of money, but he actually has to put his money where his mouth is, and it actually makes sense that it's cost this much, and I'm surprised that it doesn't cost more. Here's what he's saying he will do if you buy his fandom. He will root for the new team wholeheartedly, and to prove that, he has to bet at least $500 on the over for wins for that new team. He has to buy the NBA package so he can watch all the games. He has to attend at least one home game and one away game. He has to throw away his awesome Knicks garbage can that he's had his whole life and replace it with a new team garbage can. And he has to burn at least 3 articles of Knicks memorabilia. And finally, he has to put the new team license plate on his car. So I don't know if you're a Hornets fan or a Grizzlies fan. I mean, you guys can use all the fans you can get. You might want to go out and buy this guy's fandom just to help your team out. It, for under $2,000 sounds like a steal to me. Another funny story out there, and there's a lot of these big questions in the world, like who killed Kennedy? Did the moon landing really happen? Yes. The other question is, why did Lance Stephenson blow in LeBron James' ear in the playoffs? And I think the answer is basically what it thought it was. He was just trying to get in LeBron's head any way he could, and he said that didn't even work. The King wasn't even fazed by that. He didn't know what to do about that guy. And, this is all coming out now because they are teammates now. So, obviously, he wants to compliment James because James is going to be handling the rock a lot, and Lance Stephenson is going to want the ball, and he's going to want playing time. And we all know that LeBron is basically an assistant coach, if not player head coach, and will have a lot of say about who gets in the game. And so Lance is going to, I sense there'll be a lot more compliments coming from Lance. By the way, Lance Stephenson, not really a fantasy consideration on the Lakers, unless there's an injury to Kuzma or something like that. Finally, Jimmy Butler, he got himself in a little bit of trouble with Dwayne Wade. If you get a chance, go to Instagram and check out Gabrielle Union's Instagram page. That's Dwayne Wade's wife. She's also an actress. She posted a picture getting out of the water, and there was a little nippage. It was a little cold. It's a great picture. And Jimmy Butler responded with, well, damn, in all caps. I have to admit that was my first thought as well. And Dwayne Wade was not happy about that. He responded underneath in all caps, "mine." So Gabby Union must have been excited to see these two NBA stars fighting over her. It did end okay. Butler was just like, well, that escalated quickly. So I hope I'm still invited to the barbecue. I don't know. Wade seemed a little pissed about it. But this is another reason why I think the NBA is going to be the biggest sport in the world. I don't know what soccer player Twitter feeds and Instagram feeds are like around the world. Maybe they're super popular. I don't know. Probably. There's a lot of fans. But NBA players seem to really be embracing this online stuff, and they have a good sense of humor about it. And I think that for them to get more endorsement deals, for more money, they're going to have to really embrace it, and I think they will. So it's just one of the main reasons I think the NBA is going to end up passing soccer at some point. And I wrote an article about it on Razzball that you can check out right now. So come back to this channel. I hope you enjoy the daily fantasy, basketball, NBA, whatever it is I just did. I'm not even sure what to call it. If you have any suggestions, leave a comment, subscribe, leave comments with any news stories you saw that are funny, any reactions to what I'm talking about, anything else you'd like to see on the channel. Any fantasy advice that you have, you can check me out at The Fantasy Dick on Twitter. I'll leave that down below. So please subscribe, comment, turn on the notification bell, do all that stuff. Check out our podcast. We'll be back with another one this week. And that's it. Brent's out. Peace.